Hi everyone, this is Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode, we are going to talk about the Dolce and Gabbana experience. And as a brand, I like Dolce and Gabbana because I find it sophisticated.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. It's very sophisticated. They've got some different levels. The Pour Homme and Pour Femme line and stuff are their kind of active, attractive, energetic sort of scents. They have the One, also for men and for women, that have much more like alluring and deep notes, definitely kind of date night type fragrances, and ones that are probably more evening, but certainly could be worn during the day. And then they have a niche line that has some really exotic ingredients to them. We'll talk about one or two from all of them.
Okay, so when did Dolce and Gabbana start?
So they started as a luxury fashion house in 1985. It was founded by the two that are the namesake, Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana. There's actually people behind the D&G there and stuff, not just, some interesting letters on bags and bottles of perfume.
Yeah, and they're so classy, and I like the name Dolce and Gabbana.
Yeah. The first fragrance that they released was in 1992. It was Dolce and Gabbana for women. And then 2 years later, they followed it with a version for men, Dolce and Gabbana Pour Homme. And we actually have one of the old bottles from that time to show here. They came out with several different lines since then. There's about 160 some different fragrances that they have out now.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've been pretty prolific through the years.
Okay, so let's get started with this one called Light Blue Forever. Yes, this is Pour Homme, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Light Blue line started way back with wanting to have something sort of on the fresh side. It was a step away from the traditional Pour Homme and Pour Femme. So they came out with this probably like fruity, aquatic, woody types of scents and stuff, and have had several flankers through the years since then that have become more and more interesting, I think. Definitely this one is one of my favorites. This is a very recent release. Light Blue Forever came out in 2021, and it has top notes of grapefruit and bergamot, and then it has ozonic notes, violet leaf, vetiver, musk, and patchouli.
And the one that I really like about it is the grapefruit. It's
Yeah.
like really strong. Like
Yeah, some people call it like photoeidetic or something. It's like if you smell it, it just brings to mind instantly like somebody just tearing open a grapefruit. The spray that comes from the skin of the grapefruit and stuff. It's
Yes.
very intense. And some people don't like that, or they aren't really familiar with it, but to me it's a wonderful scent. And so I've gotten several backups of this because I was afraid they might discontinue it, and word is that they have, but you can still get it at discounters and stuff online. So if you're interested in this one, check it out and get a couple bottles. If you don't like it, you could always sell it to somebody else and get your money back. But this is definitely one to try to get a couple bottles of and have it for keeps.
Yeah. This fragrance is the grapefruit is just so
Real.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next bottle. Now, this one also has a grapefruit scent.
Yep.
It's called Light Blue Italian Love. Also Pour Homme, right?
Yes, all of these that we're going to talk about are Pour Homme, except for one of them in the niche line, which is for either. It can be unisex. So yeah, Light Blue Italian Love. This one is designed by the same person that designed the Light Blue Forever.
Oh.
And the notes are similar. They did some slight variations in a couple types of things and added a couple more notes with this one. This one was launched 1 year after Light Blue in 2022. The perfumer is Shyamala Malsondu. I'm sure I mispronounced that name. Shyamala Malsondu. She designed both of these. And the notes that they have in common are the grapefruit, bergamot, ozonic notes, violet, vetiver, musk, and patchouli. Although they use some different kinds of bergamot and vetiver between the two, that might make a slight difference. But this one also adds green notes, cashmere, guaiac wood, and I think that's the different notes and stuff there. So they smell pretty similar, but I do notice that while the grapefruit in this is very fresh, it's maybe not quite as sour as in the other one.
Yes, it's very fresh, and yes, it's also known for its grapefruit scent, but I think it's more appealing for some reason.
It seems to be, yeah. So between the two, actually Light Blue Forever gets a slightly higher rating on Fragrantica, but this one's newer and so doesn't have quite as many votes yet, so it may catch up and change. But the word is that the Light Blue Forever has been discontinued. So if you can't find Light Blue Forever and you were convinced you wanted that one, you could get this one and be very happy with it.
Yes. Okay, next one. Now we have just the regular light blue.
This is the Light Blue Eau Intense.
Yes.
So it's a version of the light blue, but a little bit of a concentration on a certain couple notes that are different.
You think it's the aquatic notes?
Probably, yeah. So this one, the Eau Intense, this one is actually listed as being designed by Alberto Morillas, one of our favorites. This was launched in 2017. It has top notes again of grapefruit, and then mandarin, seawater, juniper, musk, and amberwood. So what are your thoughts on this one?
This one definitely strong on the seawater.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely very aquatic, a very likable fragrance. Definitely for warm weather.
Yeah.
Just like the other light blues. What do you think?
My experience with it is it feels like a little bit of a misnomer with the Eau Intense because it doesn't seem like an intense fragrance. It's a sort of a gentle fragrance, as I would think of it. The initial little bit of fruitiness that you get definitely comes through clearly, but not strong. I like the seawater notes, but I don't feel like that this lasts for very long. I have not actually tried the original light blue to compare it with to see what the difference between the regular light blue and then the Eau Intense is. But I like this one, but it's probably not one of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
Just because it seems to have a short projection time, and then it becomes a skin scent.
Yeah, but it lasts long.
Yeah, it does stay on the skin for quite a while.
For a aquatic scent, it lasts for a while.
Yep.
So let's bring the other two back. So this would be, well, I would say, the light blue collection, perfect for warm weather.
Beautiful for warm weather.
Yes, all three of them. So you like the light blue profile? Definitely all three of these.
Yeah, and I would just add, if you are trying to figure, well, I can't really buy all of these, which one would I get? My pick would be this one, the Italian Love.
Okay. All right. So let's put them all back. And next one we're talking about is Intenso, which is a nighttime fragrance because it has that good gourmand smell.
Yeah. Definitely, I think this one is kind of appropriate for evenings. It is a stronger scent, definitely a darker profile.
Yeah, and very fragrant. I love this on me. It's one of my favorite nighttime fragrances.
This one was launched in 2014. It appears to be a Dolce & Gabbana in-house design. They don't list a perfumer for it. It has top notes of lavender, basil, marigold, geranium, then middle notes of tobacco, clary sage, maple accord, and bran. I'm not sure what that is, except something kind of wheat-like or something.
Yeah.
And then sandalwood, cypress, musk, amber, and labdaman.
Well, it does smell like baked goods in some way.
Does it? So yeah, you said gourmand.
Yeah.
So, it definitely has a deep, dark sort of a feel to it. I like the woodiness and the tobacco. Those are my favorite parts of this one.
Yeah, okay, next one. And now we're gonna talk about Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme 2012. So
Right.
this is the 2012 version.
This is the updated version of the first one.
Yes, and this one is strong on the lavender and has tobacco it, which makes it, I think, suave or something.
Kind of, yeah, sort of smooth and smooths it out or something, or gives it some texture.
And I think this one can be an everyday fragrance, and it's okay even if it's colder weather. You could spray more of it because lavender is just very pleasing.
It is. And it seems to be very associated with men's fragrances.
Yeah. So tell us more about it.
Okay, so the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme line started in 1994. They updated it in 2012 with this one. This was an in-house design by Dolce & Gabbana. And it has top notes of citruses, bergamot, neroli, mandarin orange, then lavender, sage, pepper, then base of tobacco, tonka, bean, and cedar. I definitely noticed the citruses, the bergamot, a little bit of maybe the neroli or the orange. It's hard for me to sort that out when I'm smelling it, but the lavender is very prominent and it lasts a long time. Also, the tobacco and tonka bean sort of help, like you said, to smooth it out and give it a nice kind of a velvety feel to it. And then the cedar gives it a nice woody note that also sort of announces itself.
Yeah, it's really great for men. Like anyway, for anyone. I mean, that's my take on it. But it's just a great everyday fragrance, and because lavender is just very pleasing.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's bring back the other two, Intenso and Light Blue.
Okay.
And now with these three, this three, you got like everyday, warm weather, and cold weather. So you got your whole thing covered.
Right.
So.
Yep, I agree.
All right. And then next one, we have Velvet Incenso. Now this one is very sophisticated,
right?
And definitely when you hear Incenso, it does smell like incense. And Velvet Incenso make it smooth incense, kind of like that, kind of like rich and stuff.
So, as you notice, this bottle is very different than the others. This comes from their Velvet line, which is part of their niche line. The cost difference is rather staggering, but they mean all of these, there's about 22 in this line of niche fragrances.
Wow.
Most of them can be unisex. Some of them maybe are a little bit more pronouncedly feminine, but they don't seem to really market them specifically to one sex or the other, because most of these, when you get into a niche type of a line like this, they're going for a very artistic sort of an approach, and I think anybody could pull it off.
Yeah.
So this one came out in 2018. It's an in-house design by Dolce & Gabbana. It gets a 4.4 rating out of 5 on Fragrantica. So the people that have this one, that have rated it on Fragrantica, really like this one. Top notes are elemi, black pepper, middle notes are incense and labdanum, and base notes are benzoin, amberwood, vanilla, patchouli, and cashmere wood.
Yeah, I want to make a mention about elemi, which is actually a wood that's located in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's got resin, and that's the one they use to make the incense spicier and or stronger.
Well, it definitely
or something.
works. It comes out really good. I notice elemi in a lot of fragrances that mention a sort of an incense note, or like a frankincense and myrrh type of a note and stuff, and it certainly brings out that spicy, smoky incense sort of a smell.
Definitely. That elemi works with the incense so good, and the labdanum. I think they all just like make it like so
Yeah.
incensey.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Okay, next one. Let's move on. Now this one is for Homme again, but 1994.
Right.
And definitely way more notes than the 2012 version.
Yep. So, as we said when we started out, they started in 1992 with Dolce and Gabbana for women, and then this one is the Pour Homme. So this one really is the original. And the thing to note here, the bottles look about the same, but the labeling is definitely different. This one has kind of like a sticker on it, and that's how they came out. The notes are significantly different.
They have the same notes except this one has extra.
more.
It has more. They probably have a little different, but this one has more. It has
Right.
tobacco too. It has lavender too.
Yeah.
It has all that stuff, but definitely different scent profile just because of this. So many notes.
So many notes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like kind of like a muddy
No,
blend
no,
of
it's very
things like that.
sophisticated.
Right. Yeah, so it is hard to get a hold of a bottle of the 1994 one. You can find them sometime, and I was lucky that recently I found another bottle of this and stuff because you know, you don't necessarily think when you buy something that it's going to be discontinued or something, and as you slowly go through it and then you decide to get another one, you're like, oh no, they've changed it. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's worth it if you really love a fragrance to almost right away go ahead and just buy another one. There's another one that we're going to talk about here that I'm going to do that exact same thing. So with this one, yes, it has quite a few more notes than the other Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. The top note is lavender, lemon, bergamot, sage, tarragon orange, neroli, and mandarin. Middle
See, a lot
notes,
already.
a lot already, compared with about 3 or 4 of those in the other one. The middle notes are pepper, cinnamon, coriander, geranium, violet, jasmine, and rose. Definitely a lot more than the 3 notes
Definitely
listed
more
in the
floral.
other one. Oh, okay. You can definitely notice the floral more.
More floral.
And then base notes, tobacco, tonka bean, sandalwood, musk, cedar, amber, coumarin, and iris.
Yeah,
So
lots.
yeah, lots of stuff in there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because I know about some of those notes, some of those ingredients have become increasingly harder to find good ones, good quality ingredients, and significantly more expensive. And if they're trying to keep this line accessible by the masses and stuff, and yet still a little on the pricey side, they probably had to cut some of those notes in order to keep it within a price point that they could still market.
That's why they have the 2012 version.
I think so, yeah. I mean, both of them come off great, but this one definitely has
More classic, more. It's just more plentiful, so it's
Yeah.
complex. It's just more complex smelling
Yeah.
than the 2012 version.
yeah, I think the person wearing this will probably appreciate the difference more than other people around you because they just get a quick whiff of you. But, you know, when you really love fragrances a lot and stuff, part of the pleasure is just enjoying it for yourself and noticing all the differences in the fragrances.
Okay, next one is the one. Okay, I know how they call it the one, like
one.
the real one or something that you gotta have.
That's the one.
Yes, also sophisticated.
Yeah.
Not as many notes, but a very pleasing,
Right.
you know. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So this one came out in 2015. This is the EDP version. Originally, there was the One Eau de Toilette, and that one came out, I want to say, in 2012. It was immediately hyped a lot and loved because it was kind of like the perfect date night fragrance and stuff.
Oh.
It's very rich and you know, dark, sweet notes and stuff. It has like tobacco in it, so a lot of people really loved some of those notes and really latched onto it pretty quickly. It has a really, this one, the EDP version, has a really high rating on Fragrantica, 4.5 out of 5. And so it definitely is one that people love. This one has top notes of grapefruit, coriander, and basil. I don't notice the grapefruit being a strong grapefruit. This is more kind of a background sweet type of a grapefruit. The middle is ginger, cardamom, and orange blossom. And in the base, it has a nice rich amber, tobacco, and cedar. So it's
Warm.
woody, tobacco-y, warm, very luxurious and luscious, inviting sort of a
Definitely
smell to
date
it.
night.
Definitely date night.
Okay, let's bring back the other two, the Velvet Incenso and the Homme 1994. Okay, and this one I would call the super sophisticated trio.
I think you nailed that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one is super sophisticated.
You know, you put all these three together, and this one you could definitely use every day, and these two more nighttime.
Yeah, the problem is if you use this every day, you'll run out of it really quickly, and you won't be able to find a replacement.
Okay, let's put them all back. And the next one is a flanker of the one called Royal Night.
Yes.
Also for men.
Now we're taking a journey into the Middle East.
Yes. And this one is prominent on cardamom. And it's probably why they call it royal. It's like something royal about cardamom.
I don't know. It definitely is. It's a very Middle Eastern characteristic to it. And this one, I think, with the Royal Night, probably maybe the amber and sandalwood and stuff. I'm not sure. But definitely this one is a really rich, nice.
The cardamom is very present in this
Yeah.
one. When you spray it on you notice the cardamom right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has a sort of a similar profile to the One Eau de Parfum, but it's missing the tobacco, and they substitute in more woods for it. So really a nice classy scent, and definitely has like a little bit of a Middle Eastern flair to it. This one came out in 2015, and it's hard to get a hold of. It's sometimes becoming a little bit easier to access now, but for the first couple or few years, it was mostly marketed in the Middle East until they saw that there was a big interest in it on this side of
Come on, if you
pond.
tried it, it's
Yeah.
like you'd want
It
to
comes
wear
in a really beautiful bottle with a kind of a gold filigree and Arabic writing on it and stuff that makes it look very
It's still
exotic.
tame compared to the Middle Eastern bottles, though.
It is. It is. It's still it's a Western version of a Middle Eastern profile.
Another Middle Eastern profile, the One Mysterious Night, and the difference in this one's got rose and oud, which is prominent. Really
Very prominent.
Very prominent. Sticks out,
So the top notes, this one came out in 2018, and it has top notes of saffron and grapefruit. I noticed the saffron, the grapefruit is probably, to me, smells very muted. It doesn't jump out as like the light blue ones do. But I definitely notice rose, oud, and then probably the amber and labdanum. The base is amber, base is amber, woods, labdanum, and tonka bean. So it's got a rich, smooth, almost syrupy base to it. And you notice the rose and the oud all the way through.
This one lasts
a long
and
time.
strong, strong and lasts a long time. I spray 3 of on me like 3 times, just 1, 2, 3. Like 4 hours later, I can smell myself. Funny you don't get a nose sniff to it.
Yeah, I find this one harder for me to wear in hot weather because I feel like I almost choke myself out.
Yes,
with it.
definitely.
And I can imagine what other
night.
people are thinking.
Colder weather.
Yeah, and they show the advertisements for this show like a guy walking through an obviously blazing desert and stuff, and picking up a rose that he finds there and stuff. And so I'm thinking it's like if this guy had this stuff on in 120 degrees out in the desert,
He'd choke himself.
the camels would be running away because it's strong.
It's very strong.
It's beautiful, but it's strong.
Okay.
I would wear it more for like moderate to cooler weather.
Last but not the least,
Oh,
my
definitely not
favorite
least.
of the One flanker series, the One Luminous Night.
Yeah.
And what makes this exciting are the dates.
I think so too. And I don't know if you're talking about the dates like would grow on a date palm or the dates that you would get by all the people that smell this and line
Both.
up. Because it is really probably my favorite out of this line.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, definitely mine too. It's so
Okay.
exciting. It,
Yeah.
it never grows old on you. It's just I'd use up the bottle though.
Yeah. So this one, One Luminous Night, is an amber woody fragrance. This one was not designed in-house by Dolce & Gabbana. They had a perfumer, Jean-Christophe Hérault, in 2021 designed this, and it gets a 4.6 on Fragrantica.
Oh, very high.
Very high. Top notes of bergamot, basil, and black pepper. And then you have middle notes, which last a pretty long time. Dates, sage, and geranium.
Wow, the
Mostly I
dates
noticed the
so
dates.
fragrant. I mean, I just eat it, but not
know.
even thinking of smelling it, and it smells great.
Yeah. It's a very realistic date. It smells very sweet and, just that
Not
delicate.
too sweet though.
Right. It smells kind of like cutting open a date and stuff, how a fresh one would smell.
Yeah.
Amber, incense, and sandalwood in the base to smooth it all out. And this one is hard to find.
Oh, wow.
This one is hard to find, and it doesn't seem to be that it's discontinued, but it is difficult to get a hold of. So if you find any specials, if you smell it on someone and you like it and know that you like it, if you see this somewhere, get 2 bottles of it, because you'll want to run through the first bottle in record time because it's so awesome. I do have a feeling that this one will become harder and harder to get in the next few years. So if you like it, do yourself a favor and get a backup or 2, because it's amazing as it is. If they change the scent profile on it or something, that would be kind of sad. But you just can't go wrong with this one.
Yeah. Okay, and let's bring back all the ones. See if they can all fit here.
All of the ones.
All of the ones.
Okay.
All right. So you got this whole collection here because of the one that started it.
Right.
You
This is
know?
actually the EDP, so it's kind of the one that came after the one that started.
Yeah, but all if you like to complete the collection, I would say get them because all of them smell great. They
Right.
smell great. The only downside is only for night.
Right.
They're all for nighttime fragrances.
I
But
would
if
say
you're-
they're evening fragrances.
and if
stuff.
you're a night owl, definitely all these 4 would be great.
These are definitely great date night or going out, in like a kind of a classy sort of a setting. They're really fantastic. I think you could probably wear the One Eau de Parfum for an office scent, but it really is probably more appropriate for like classy settings, date night or something like that. And if you're juggling between whether you should get the original The One EDT versus the EDP, you'll hear different people talk about which one is the real beast or whatever. While the Eau de Toilette may project a lot in the first hour or 2, it just seems to be all gone then and become a skin scent. And while if you're wearing it for date night, hopefully the person's going to be up close to you and will still smell it. But honestly, the EDP, I think, is the way to go. It lasts longer. It's got a really rich profile. The cost is about the same, and it's just, it's a better wearing fragrance. As for the Middle Eastern ones, just get all of them if you can. It's a little hard to find them, but it's worth it if you can find it. And especially if you can get the Luminous Night, get a backup of that, because that one is spectacular.
So that's it for the Dolce & Gabbana experience. I want to close it out by saying that I really find the line sophisticated, but not on the affordable side. I don't think so. What do you think?
You can occasionally find some good deals on some of the discounters like Fragrance Net, Fragrance by CA, and Joma Shop, if you keep your eyes peeled for them. But in general, no, you don't find these discounted very much. And the Middle Eastern ones, you pretty much don't find at all. And if you do, certainly very seldom discounted. So if you keep your eyes peeled for them and stuff, you can sometimes find them for reasonable prices. But in general, yeah, it's going to be a pricey line.
Yeah, and I think it's a very well-known brand. I think it commands a lot of demand. What do you think?
Yeah, the brand is well known, but they have a good reputation for a reason. They live up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't put out any kind of halfway type of fragrances. They're all really top notch.
All the fragrances are top notch, and that's why it's not as accessible as other fragrances. Okay, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Till next time, bye-bye.
Bye.